Guys, what is going on? Back again with another Arbitrum ecosystem update. As usual, nothing in this video is financial advice, and everything I say is my opinion, and my opinion alone. Guys, it's Blob Day. We have the first tweet here by Arbitrum. They say that blobs are finally on Ethereum. Here's an update on Arbitrum support. Tomorrow, all Arbitrum rollups can start to see lower fees as a result of the Denken X ArbOS Atlas upgrade. As well as number 2, March 18th, there will be additional fee reductions for Arbitrum 1 as per ArbOS Atlas. So essentially what they're saying here is pretty much two things. Number one, so all of us already know, EIP 4844, the Denken upgrade has happened on Ethereum, happened this morning actually. Arbitrum chains such as Arbitrum 1, the main chain, will actually see like the lower fees as a result of Denken starting tomorrow. It should be tomorrow, probably later in the day. Because as the Arbitrum Foundation mentions here, Arbitrum has a stabilizer in the fee mechanism designed to prevent the whipsawing of the fees. So these effects of the fees, the changes of fees, won't take effect instantaneously, rather gradually. So it'll probably be a couple of hours, probably into the day tomorrow, when you actually will start to see much lower fees than you're seeing now, which is great. But the second thing that's mentioned here, this is very important, is that March 18th, so about 5 days from now, there will be an additional fee reduction for Arbitrum 1 as per the ArbOS Atlas upgrade. There was actually an amendment, I think, put through the snapshot a couple of days ago. But this essentially is going to reduce, if I remember correctly, the L1 surcharge fee and the L2 base fee to like essentially negligible amounts. So tomorrow, in a nutshell, there's going to be low fees on Arbitrum, lower than they are right now. But then 5 days from now as well, so 4 days from tomorrow, there's going to be another reduction of fees that may even be like more substantial. I don't know if it'll be more substantial than tomorrow, but it's definitely going to be a substantial drop from what I understand. So very exciting times for everyone in the Arbitrum community. What this means essentially in my mind is that there's going to be, it's possible that the Arbitrum fees go down with over the next couple of days, over the next couple of weeks. But over time, TPS starts to average out at a lot higher number than it was now, with fees going up slightly more, if that makes sense. Since essentially all this does is increase capacity for layer 2s for the most part. It doesn't necessarily lower fees, it increases capacity. Lower fees is kind of a result of this capacity increase. So definitely something to keep in mind, but very exciting, essentially for almost every rollup on Ethereum, since all of them are being affected by this at different times. But just wanted to give you an update on the Arbitrum side. I wanted to also touch on a post here by Offchain Labs. They say, we want to congratulate the Prism team here at Offchain Labs on their historic achievement of playing a critical role in contributing to both the L1 and L2 Ethereum ecosystems with Denken and the ArbOS Atlas upgrades. On the L1 side, Prism was the first team to release a draft of EIP 4844. This answered vital questions about blob data on existing gossip networks, enabling experiments with real network data. They worked on all DevNet and testnet forks, leading to a more secure final design. ArbOS Atlas came through the collaboration through the Prism client and the Arbitrum Nitro teams. The implementations built by consensus layer teams play a vital role in the specification process, testing feasibility of designs created by both Ethereum researchers and client teams. All that jargon to say that the Prism team here at Offchain Labs obviously played a very, very big role in shipping the Denken upgrade on Ethereum mainnet, number 1, as well, of course, as well as on Arbitrum. It's really cool to be working with these guys. Obviously, if you don't know, I work at Offchain Labs. I do community strategy there. So the fact that I'm like kind of in the same room as some of these guys sometimes is just really, really cool. And it's kind of nice, you know, like kind of contributing to both Ethereum from the layer 2 level, but also literally directly to Ethereum on the L1 side as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think I put out a post about this the other day, how it's kind of cool that there's like so much kind of insane gigabrain mindshare happening here. And I don't know, it just works, I guess, at the end of the day, which is great. So I just wanted to make sure I shouted that out and shout out the team over at Prism. Those guys are just insane people, but in a good way. All right, we got a tweet here by Srijith.eth. I'm sure I butchered the name, I apologize. But they say the continuation of the Questbook DDA grant program for Arbitrum is live on Snapshot here. Interested in building on Arbitrum? Keep an eye out and DM me for any details. Lots of opportunities opening up for builders in Arbitrum soon. I mentioned this yesterday, but I wanted to highlight this tweet in particular today because essentially it seems like Srijith here is actually one of the core components here, or one of the, core contributors here to the Questbook DDA grant program. So if you are a builder and you're looking for more details on this program, whether it's how to apply, how it works, if you'll qualify for it, make sure to DM him. So I apologize for putting you out here, but you put out the tweet, so I had to make sure I mentioned it real quick. But yeah, again, like I said yesterday, just a very small recap. They ran a program a couple months ago with about $1 million in budget, like $900,000, and that one was immensely successful. I think they funded over 60 teams, and there were teams that I spoke to actually at different conferences who told me they got funded from these programs, which is amazing. So this time around, they're kind of running it back 4 times the budget ask, I think, this time. So even more impact, I guess, to be made. And yeah, very exciting. So yeah, if you're looking to be funded, see if your project will qualify, I guess. All right, we have some exciting news. We're moving on to like ecosystem kind of deployments. Synthaman says SIP 367 Synthetix v3 deployment to Arbitrum. Guys, if you don't know, so this was kind of announced a little while ago, to be honest, but I don't think people really noticed it because it was kind of hidden in like a really big article. Synthetix is deploying on Arbitrum. Yes. I think it was Kane who mentioned it, but he called it Degenthetics or something. I have no idea. But it looks like they're planning on deploying with the collateral types of ETH, USDC, DAI, and ARB. Not financial advice. And I'm not sure like actually how Synthetix governance works. It looks like this is just a draft currently, so I don't know when they're actually deploying, but still pretty exciting stuff. No, I mean, come on, like it's been a long time coming. I mean, frankly, I know people deem Synthetix as like one of the like DeFi darlings of way back when, DeFi 1.0, DeFi 2.0. And it's cool to see them finally come into Arbitrum, I guess. It's good. I like it. But I'm just wondering if V3 is also being deployed anywhere else besides Arbitrum. I could have sworn at some point they're looking at their own chain, but I'm not sure. Anyways, nonetheless, shout outs to the Synthetix community, the Arbitrum community. I'm sure everyone is alongside me when I say that we welcome you with open arms. Next, we have a tweet by Alchemix, another DeFi darling. They quote tweeted the Arbitrum Foundation account earlier today saying, that's what we call perfect timing. What that says to me is that deployment soon, probably. I think Alchemix at some point did support Arbitrum. Like I literally remember bridging like their USD over to Arbitrum at some point, and like I have no idea where that is anymore. But if this is what I think it is, then I'm very, very excited to see them potentially coming to Arbitrum. Again, like I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure if like all these different protocols are kind of now timing their deployments, obviously in line with the bull market that it's I guess that's already taking place, but this is like literally the best time, I guess, to launch a project on any chain, frankly, I think at this point. So it's really cool to see the likes of Synthetix and of course here potentially Alchemix here deploying as well. So let's keep an eye. I feel like it's only Wednesday, so I'm sure we're going to see a couple of sneak peeks, maybe a couple of announcements this week about even more projects deploying. But speaking of deployments, P-Pods Finance, look at this. The time has come. Pods will be launching on Arbitrum tomorrow. With Duncan and BLOBS having reduced L2 network fees by 90%, arbitrage-based volatility farming will become as efficient as never before. As ever before? Or never? I don't know. P-Pods is going omni-chain with Arbitrum being the first step and more L2s to follow soon. Now I'm not the biggest DeFi guy, so obviously, I'm not familiar with P-Pods, but it seems like there's a lot of community support behind this one, and it's always good to recognize and onboard a new project into the ecosystem. So guys, show some love, give them a like, give them a comment, welcome them to the Arbitrum ecosystem, and yeah, arms wide open. And lastly, we have a tweet by Harry Forge. First Ape Launchpad project, Space Nation, AAA game, 3 years in the making, expanding BAYC IP and ApeCoin adoption, powered by ApeCoin. So this is an interesting one. So it looks like this is like an MMORPG that took quite a long time to make. I'm not sure if I should be including ApeCoin based projects now, right? Because technically, the Ape chain is going to be launched using Arbitrum Orbit technology. But I'm not sure how that would tie into these videos, because I don't think the games necessarily are launching on Ape chains. It's not created yet, right? I don't know what this game's in this case, Space Nation. I don't know what Space Nation's plan is, or if they're going to wait for Ape Chain to launch and then launch there, or launch on Arbitrum 1 or Nova first and then migrate over to the Ape Chain, or even launch on a completely different chain. I don't know. But for now, as I see it, I'll start to highlight ApeCoin-based projects. So yeah, because they are part of the Arbitrum ecosystem now, which is pretty crazy to see actually. But it makes sense. Apes are for Arbitrum, right? It makes sense. Nonetheless, shoutouts to Space Nation. Excited to see you guys live. And lastly, we'll end off with a shill for Beneath the Layers. As usual, it's a community-focused show dedicated to showcasing entrepreneurs in Web3 and telling their stories. We have the most recent one was me speaking with Jill, the CSO at Espresso Systems. Also spoke with Ellie from Starkware. I think that was actually the most recent one, as well as a couple of other people such as G-Funk from Pixel Vault, Amit from Proof of Play, some of the Prism folks, as well as Ed Felton from Offchain Labs. So a ton of great guests, and we have more coming. Don't worry. Just it takes a little while to edit things and get things approved, but just stick with me here, please. You can watch it on X, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those platforms you like. You can watch these podcasts on. That being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy Blob Day.